Hello world, I'm going to demonstrate through Bertrand, a custom ChatGPT plugin that developed fork off the retrieval plugin to demonstrate how AI will be the answer to giving every child a personal tutor. And the other thing that we'll be looking at is how this persistence of memory will allow us to ground AI in more authoritative sources of knowledge, right? And actually to enable hyper-personalized experiences. And what I would like for you to take away or think about at the end of the video is also, what is truth, aside from it being something within the 95% confidence interval, right? There's often a lot of talk about how AI has no underlying notion or understanding of the world, but perhaps there's a lot that can be done just by modeling the statistical and understanding the statistical properties and distributions of the world, really. Anyway, let's get started. So one of the persistent problems that I have is simply not having enough practice questions for this course that I'm doing, right? So what if we were to ask Bertrand, which has already ingested the course book as well as course transcripts, to generate for me these practice questions? And the interesting thing about these responses that you will see that gets returned is actually that we are also able to look within the chunk, right, of the source that it's referencing from, how it's kind of like scoring all these things. So this allows us to essentially just feed to AI a textbook and have questions generated automatically for us to practice from. And of course, we can interact with it 24/7 to deepen and clarify our understanding of this course materials. And we can really interact with this further, right? So make this cover a wide range of different topics to deepen my understanding of key concepts, ideas, findings, theories, and studies. And in fact, if we have the course syllabus, we can also share that those are the goals that we're trying to achieve, and then ChatGPT will then reverse engineer that process of throwing at us, these questions consistently until we're able to meet those course objectives. So while it's generating that, you can see that these are some of the queries that it has understood from my previous question, and the sources, right? Some of the metadata that's actually associated with this particular response that it has actually fetched in order to answer our question. All right. And here you'll see that it has generated for me basically different types of flashcards based on what I asked it to do. And yeah, so it's really doable. We can make use of AI to give every child in the world an access to a personal tutor that is 24/7, that remembers their preferences, and that will be able to explain at a level of knowledge tailored to them. Right? So let's now look at this whole idea of that persistence of memory. So I think one of the best ways to look at what memory can do is to compare and contrast the capabilities of GPT 555 versus GPT 4 with Bertrand turned on. And I'm going to ask the computer to remember my mother tongue, alright? And it has done that. And in the case of Bertrand, you will see that it's actually going to do what we call an upsert action on our local vector store, right? So it's actually going to store this information. And then I'm going to ask it to write for me a haiku AI in my mother tongue. So you will see that both of them are able to do that. And then later we're going to start a new chat and see whether AI still remembers my mother tongue. Now let's compare and contrast the difference memory makes by looking at what GPT 3.5 responds compared to Bertrand. right? And this is not quite it. And then if we were to ask the same prompt of Bertrand, which has access to what I've told it previously in chat, right, we will see that it's able to look up the relevant information and give us a haiku in Ernie's mother tongue. So the possibilities are limitless, right? If we connect more and more sources of domain authoritative knowledge to AI, connect it to more tools so they can call on those tools directly and remember user interactions, histories, how these toolings work, how a particular environment, a particular context works. Just imagine all the kinds of customized content that we'll be able to deliver to particular audiences all within a matter of seconds, right? Or how we will be able to go from prompt to feature. So with that, I hope you are as excited as I am about the potential. Actually, it's not even the potential, but what AI can really do for us, not only in education, but in science, art, and so on and so forth.